Extramarital affairs are quietly accepted by society. In France, cheating isn't the relationship destroyer you might think it is. Since 1975, French law has decriminalized adultery, and divorces rarely use affairs as the main reason for separation. The most famous example is former President François Mitterrand, who maintained two families for decades. His wife and his mistress both attended his funeral, and the French still admired him. When the press tried to dig deeper, he simply said, "Personal life does not belong to the press." According to a survey, nearly 50% of French people admitted to having cheated at least once. French women have the second highest cheating rate in Europe, just after Germany. This isn't scandalous behavior. It's seen as a mature view of relationships where love doesn't mean ownership. In intellectual circles in Paris and Lyon, many couples quietly accept open relationships as long as there's respect and shared family responsibility. Discreet dating apps for married people operate smoothly without causing the social upheaval they would in other countries. Not wearing clothes is a form of respect. In southern France, especially in Provence and along the coast, body freedom isn't cultural shock. It's a respected and highly organized lifestyle. France now has over 460 legal naturist resorts, including entire villages, seaside resorts, and family camps. At famous spas like certain thermal baths, total liberation in communal saunas is mandatory. If you try to wear a swimsuit, you'll be reminded to remove it. Not because it's indecent, but because it violates the natural purity culture of the space. To prevent abuse, naturist resorts have extremely strict rules. Any sexual, provocative, or inappropriate behavior results in immediate expulsion with no refund. This policy is enforced by most naturist resorts. The philosophy is about connecting with nature and erasing body discrimination, not about anything sexual. Respect or too weird? Comment yes if you try it, no if never. The unspoken rules for winning over a French woman. Forget everything you've seen in Hollywood movies about French romance. If you think French women want to be swept off their feet with cheesy compliments and grand gestures, you're dead wrong. French women don't like to be won over. They want to be discovered and admired through intellectual connection. According to a 2023 survey, most French women aged 25 to 40 said they don't like obvious pursuit but prefer natural, intellectual, and slightly challenging interactions. This means no cliches like, "You're so beautiful," or "I love your smile." Instead, ask about the book she's reading or bring up a current event. Love in France is a dance of the mind, not a chase of emotions. Don't show Hollywood-style chivalry like pulling out chairs or paying the entire bill. French women prefer equality and sharing. They want to feel like you're talking to an equal, not pampering a princess. The attractive man in France is one who keeps some mystery, listens well, and doesn't need to win to feel valuable. What do you think of these rules? Want to learn more about French women's strengths or tips to win their hearts? Comment below and we'll share more. Speaking English is forbidden in France, especially in Paris. If you walk into a cafe and start with "Hi, do you speak English?" don't be surprised if you get a cold stare or deliberate silence. It's not about being unfriendly. You've just broken a cultural taboo by disrespecting the French language. Nearly 40% of French people can communicate in English, with even higher rates among young people in big cities. But speaking English doesn't mean they like using it. In France, language isn't just a tool, it's national identity. Speaking French on French soil is a way to show cultural pride. Many people admit to pretending not to understand English if they feel disrespected by foreign cultural pressure. France has a law called Loi tout bon, requiring all official documents, advertisements, packaging, and websites to use French, even for foreign companies. In rural areas, you'll see signs saying, "Please speak French," not to chase tourists away, but to remind visitors they're in a culture fiercely protected by love and pride. If these stories opened your eyes to a new side of France and helped you learn something new, make sure to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more fascinating discoveries like this one. Strange wedding rituals for eternal happiness. In rural parts of France, especially Burgundy, people believe that if a cat sneezes near the bride on her wedding day, it's a sign of good luck. This belief has existed since at least the 17th century and still appears in traditional rural weddings. Cats are thought to guard the boundary between the spirit world and the living. So their sneeze on the wedding day chases away bad luck and awakens good fortune. Some rituals require the bride to stand near a cat for about 3 minutes. And if she hears a sneeze, She should smile because she's about to have a happy marriage. At a wedding in the small town of Saint-Nazaire, the bride made the whole hall cheer when her house cat sneezed just as she walked down the aisle. Some classic rural French weddings still feature the bride's family secretly placing a cat in a basket near the ceremony as a living charm. And if you think that's surprising in a nation, there's even a custom where a woman sleeps with several men and then chooses the strongest one to marry. Shocking as it sounds, it's a real practice. Click the link at the top corner of the screen or the one pinned in the comments to watch. And don't forget to come back, because in the next part, I'll reveal how not to offend anyone after a meal with the French. Never split the bill at intimate dinners. This is a cultural rule that catches many tourists off guard. If you finish a cozy dinner with French friends and pull out your phone to split the bill, you've just broken one of the most important social rules in French culture. In France, especially at intimate meals, splitting the bill is considered calculating and too practical, often attributed to Americans or inexperienced tourists. Traditionally, the inviter pays, or both parties quietly take turns paying on different occasions. Many French people say they've quietly ended relationships with someone who split the bill on the first date. The French feel uncomfortable when forced to divide a bill in detail at a friendly meal, because it breaks the elegance and generosity that are the soul of French dining culture. Don't dress too casually. If you think you can throw on a t-shirt and flip-flops to go out in France, you've probably never set foot in Paris, where every street feels like an impromptu fashion show and locals are models who are never off duty. The French believe that how you dress reflects how you respect yourself and society. According to a 2020 L'Express style survey, 82% of French people judge others' first impressions by their clothes. At school, work, or even just grabbing morning bread, nobody steps out in wrinkled clothes, sweatpants, or sleep hoodies. The special thing is that the French don't need designer brands. They chase good taste, not logos. A simple shirt, well-fitted jeans, polished leather shoes, and neatly styled hair are enough. How about you? Are you on Team Polished or Team Comfort first? Drop a comment and share your thoughts. Don't pick up seashells at some beaches. You might think picking up seashells as beach souvenirs is normal, even romantic. In France, absolutely not. At many famous beaches like Corsica, Cap Ferret, and Provence, collecting seashells, snail shells, or any piece of nature can get you fined up to more than $600. Those shells aren't just decorations or natural debris. They provide homes for microorganisms, crabs, and seabirds, and play a key role in preventing beach erosion. Taking them away may seem harmless, but it actually disrupts fragile ecosystems that depend on these natural materials. Many tourists are surprised when asked to open their bags at airports and fined on the spot for carrying shells. On Corsica, where conservation laws are especially strict, even picking up pebbles can lead to penalties. In protected zones, removing sand, small rocks, or pebbles is banned because every element on the beach is considered part of the environment's shared heritage, not personal property. In France, the message is simple: admire nature, enjoy it, but leave it exactly as you found it. A village with a mosquito ban. Here's one of the most absurd yet charming stories from France. In the village of Briolet in western France, there was once an official ban on mosquitoes flying into its territory. In the summer of 2018, when mosquitoes flooded the region, the mayor signed a one-of-a-kind decree with Article 2 reading, "Mosquitoes are prohibited from entering the village's territory." Of course, no mosquito could read the official bulletin, but the decision instantly turned Briolet into a media hotspot. Newspapers across Europe reported it. Curious tourists visited just to take pictures of the sign. And residents proudly told stories of our village having a mosquito protection law. 2.5 weeks later, the mosquito population dropped noticeably. The mayor candidly admitted that the credit didn't go to the legendary decree, but rather to a practical mosquito control campaign, involving draining stagnant water and addressing environmental conditions. Still, the mosquito ban lives on as a humorous symbol. Many cafes and stores in the village put up signs saying, "Safe Zone, no mosquitoes," as a quirky way to greet visitors. This perfectly captures the French ability to turn bureaucracy into entertainment. An island that changes nationality twice a year. There's only one place in the world where nationality automatically changes every 6 months with no need for passports, immigration, or anyone leaving or arriving. The strange thing is, no one lives there. That place is Ile des Faisans, or the Isle of the Pheasants. just 6,820 square meters in size, smaller than an NFL football field. This island has no residents, no buildings, no phone signal. And importantly, no one is allowed to stay overnight, camp, or hold weddings. But what makes this place unique on the world map is its changing ruling nationality every 6 months with no borders and no passport checks. From February 1st to July 31st, the island belongs to Spain. From August 1st to January 31st, it becomes French territory. The transfer happens regularly with military and administrative representatives from both countries. Without fireworks or parades, just a handshake representing over 350 years of peace. In the 17th century, this island was the site of a historic meeting between Louis XIV of France and Philip IV of Spain to discuss royal marriages. Today, you can view the island from the International Bridge crossing the Bidasoa River, where it looks like a quiet leaf floating between two cultures. It's the world's most peaceful example of shared sovereignty. Type number 1 in the comments if this island just made it onto your travel bucket list. Don't eat while walking. In the country considered the cradle of world cuisine, eating isn't just a biological need. It's a social ritual, and that ritual never happens on the street. The idea of eating while walking barely exists in France because, to locals, it's uncivilized, rushed, and ruins the enjoyment of food. If you walk down the street munching bread, people will look at you like you're running from culture. Eating requires a table, a chair, time, and preferably friends. It goes further than this. Bringing outside food into restaurants or cafes is considered absolutely rude. Not booking a table during peak hours can leave you waiting outside for hours. And asking to customize a dish to your taste is taboo, seen as an insult to the chef and the spirit of traditional cuisine. French dining expects you to eat slowly, savor, and respect every detail, from the crunch of the bread to the aftertaste of the sauce. This cultural rule extends to all food consumption. Even grabbing a quick sandwich is done standing at a counter in a cafe, not while walking to your destination. The French see eating as a moment of pause and appreciation, not something to multitask with transportation. The government pays you to ride a bike. France is the only country in the world where the government literally pays you to ride a bike to work. Through an initiative known as the Vélo Boulot program, which translates roughly to bike to work. French citizens can earn about 27 cents per kilometer simply by cycling to their workplace instead of driving. That might not sound like much at first, but for someone who lives around 8 kilometers from their office and bikes every day, it can add up to nearly $100 per month in extra income. All while staying fit and reducing carbon emissions. But the French government's cycling support doesn't stop there. Those who choose to buy electric bicycles receive generous subsidies, with financial assistance of up to $650 toward the purchase of a new e-bike. This effort is part of a broader plan to make cycling not just an environmentally friendly option, but also an economically rewarding one. In many major French cities such as Strasbourg, Bordeaux, and Nantes, cycling has become an integral part of daily life. It's not just an alternative mode of transportation, it's part of the urban identity. Dedicated bike highways, or autoroute cyclables, run through several metropolitan areas, equipped with rest stops, self-service tire pumps, and specialized traffic cameras designed exclusively for cyclists. In Strasbourg, often hailed as the bike capital of France, more than 16% of residents commute by bicycle every single day. The city even funds a 24-hour public bike repair service, ensuring that minor issues never stop anyone from riding. The infrastructure is so advanced that you can bike across the entire city safely without ever needing to merge with car traffic, a luxury that few cities in the world can claim. Strasbourg's success has inspired other French municipalities to follow suit, and today, France boasts one of the most extensive and cyclist-friendly networks in Europe. In fact, when it comes to financial incentives and public investment, France surpasses even famously bike-centric cities like Amsterdam or Copenhagen. Yet, beyond infrastructure and subsidies, the heart of the program lies in its philosophy. Cycling isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about creating a sustainable lifestyle that the government actively rewards. It's a vision of the future where physical health, environmental consciousness, and financial benefit coexist seamlessly. In France, riding your bike doesn't just save the planet, it pays off. Quite literally. How potatoes were once banned in France. Potatoes, a staple food today, were once banned in France because they were believed to be the apple of the devil and the cause of leprosy. In 1748, the French Parliament officially passed a law prohibiting the cultivation of potatoes due to widespread misconceptions. Since they grew underground, weren't mentioned in the Bible, and were often confused with poisonous plants, people feared them. This ban lasted for 24 years. Fortunately, pharmacist Antoine-Augustin Parmentier changed everything. During his imprisonment in Prussia, he was forced to eat potatoes and discovered their nutritional value. Even after the ban was lifted in 1772, French people remained skeptical. Parmentier came up with a brilliant psychological strategy. He asked King Louis XVIII for a royal plot of land to plant potatoes and had soldiers guard it strictly during the day but withdraw at night. Seeing something so heavily guarded, curious French people thought it must be valuable. So they secretly stole the potatoes and grew them themselves. Thanks to this clever pretend indifference tactic, potatoes quickly spread and became a staple food in France. Today, many potato dishes still bear his name and honor. For example, hachis parmentier. This story shows how psychology can overcome cultural prejudice. Rent a castle for just $20. In France, you can truly live like a 17th century nobleman for just $20 a night. In the peaceful Burgundy region, Château de Barnay welcomes guests for around $20 per person per night, cheaper than a budget hotel room in New York, yet offering the chance to sleep inside real history. En Provence, Château de Siron combines ancient charm with Mediterranean beauty. Surrounded by lavender gardens and vineyards, guests can enjoy local wines and sunset views for only $25 to $30 per person. For something a bit grander, Château Saint-Paterne in the Loire Valley, once home to French aristocrats, offers rooms filled with antique furniture and includes breakfast for about $40 to $60 per person. What makes this even more special is that many of these castles are still owned by descendants of noble families. They rent them out at low prices to help preserve their heritage. Guests often get full access to the gardens, living rooms, and fireplaces, and sometimes even hold the main keys to the castle. Many of these estates offer royal experiences, from private chefs and wine tastings in 300-year-old cellars to guides dressed in period clothing. In France, a luxury getaway isn't just about 5 stars, it's about 5 centuries. You don't just stay in a castle, you live inside history itself. Delicious foods and eating like the French. French cuisine is where cheese has a birth certificate, and breakfast can be cooked with wine. France is a culinary heaven for unusual delicacies. Each slice of Camembert or Roquefort cheese has a clear origin story: the type of milk, the aging process, even the kind of grass the cow ate. The French love cheese and are proud of the taste heritage of their land. What's special is that the French often eat cheese instead of dessert, leaving many Americans puzzled when they don't find crème brûlée at the end of a meal. The baguette was originally designed for Napoleon's soldiers to tuck neatly into their long coats, slender and requiring no special tool to separate pieces. Some traditional bakeries in Paris only bake one type of bread each morning. If you come late, you'll have to wait until the next day. Escargots, or snails, represent the pinnacle of strange but proud cuisine. The snails are specially raised and fed herbal powder to make their meat flavorful, then cooked with garlic butter and herbs. Every year, at the Fête de l'Escargot Festival, people compete to see who can eat the most snails. In small villages near Bordeaux, you can buy wine from vending machines like at gas stations, but these are stocked with quality Merlot and Cabernet. This perfectly captures how wine is woven into daily French life, not just reserved for special occasions. These 15 facts reveal that France is far more complex and fascinating than the romantic stereotypes suggest. From government-paid cycling to banned potatoes, from clothing etiquette to relationship norms, France operates by cultural rules that often contradict what the outside world expects. Understanding these hidden aspects of French culture helps explain why France remains one of the most influential yet misunderstood countries in the world. These aren't just quirky trivia facts. They're windows into a society that values tradition, intellectual discourse, and cultural preservation above convenience or global conformity. The next time you visit France or interact with French culture, remember that beneath the surface of croissants and Eiffel Tower postcards lies a nation with centuries of unique customs, surprising laws, and social norms that continue to shape how millions of people live their daily lives. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Have you experienced any of these cultural differences firsthand during visits to France? Share your stories in the comments below. I read every comment and love hearing about your cultural discoveries. If you want to learn more shocking facts about other countries around the world, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching.